What's up, everyone? So today I thought this would be a little bit of a special video. It's going to be a really cool time to kind of show you one of my favorite little things for recycling some lures. One of my favorite all-time baits for catching spotted bass. Now granted, they'll catch all three species, from spotted bass, largemouth, to smallmouth in the rivers and everything. I'm going to show you how to kind of rig them, why they're so good, and hopefully if the fish are willing to cooperate, hopefully we can catch a few fish on them. Right here on Belews Lake again, and if you see me from my last video, I was also at Belews Lake. You probably see a lot of videos from me at Belews Lake because it's my home lake. It's just really close to my house, and it's a good place to come out here and catch some fish. So hope you enjoy today's video, and thank you so much. That fish? No. Oh goodness, look at that. Well, little spotted bass. I picked up on it and I was like, is that a fish? And I was like, no, I felt like a stick. I'm like, yeah, it was a little fish. God bless you, little buddy. Maybe turn into a 5-pounder one day. Yeah. I can't believe that. Tiny little spotted bass.
These little tiny things that eat that.
And the funny thing is I've caught fish darn like almost 5 pounds on this little bait too. That's a cool thing. I hope you guys are seeing this. This is kind of what type of range you might be running into with throwing this little Ned style bait, these Ned rigs. You really never know what you might hook up with it. You might hook up on a 4 or 5 pounder. You might hook up on little micro fish. So it's a really good bait, and it's typically a pretty easy bait to get bit on, which is one of the reasons why I like it so much. Oh, there was a fish. Oh, it was a monster. Well, this is unfortunate. I said when I caught that last one that there was nowhere to go but up, and I might have been wrong. Well, this ain't the type to win tournaments, but at least it's a fish. I might need to go somewhere else, get out of the nursery. There's one. Look at that red ear. I bet these people throw, you know, like bread in the water. Look at that rascal. And look at that darn stomach on him. Look at that, goodness. That's a pretty nice size darn red ear. Anyway, God bless you, buddy. I like that Ned rig too. Ooh, bloop. It's kind of hard not to belly flop when you're all about all belly. So basically there's a big flat right here coming across right here, and it's all similar depth water. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw my Ned rig up here and just basically just drag it through that flat, and hopefully any largemouth or spotted bass that are kind of sitting like that right there. This is a perfect example. He's cooperated with me, and yeah, like that. That's kind of what I was expecting to happen. There's a big, like I didn't even get finished explaining it, but basically there was a big flat right here, and I was wanting to just throw my bait up and across that flat and drag it back through here. And I figured there were some spotted bass sitting up here, not really shallow. He probably better than maybe 5 feet of water, and you've got another one in here. So I'm gonna keep kind of fan cast right through here and try to keep it in that same water depth throughout, just dragging it right across that little flat bottom. And yeah, this little guy proved my point perfectly. And go on to fight another day. God bless you, little buddy. So I proved my point a little too well. I didn't get to finish my statement before I knew it. I was already hooked up. I'd catch a fish right in here, but if I do, I want you to like that. Never mind. All right. Well, oh, okay. Come here. Yep, there's another little guy that just come on the Ned rig just off this little flat like I was just talking about. And he ain't no big fish, but it's always fun to catch fish. Always a good time when you're at least catching, not just out here enjoying the view. You're actually getting to fight some fish. He ain't no big fish, but like I said, they're fun to catch. And every fish I've caught so far today has not even been on an actual Ned rig bait. It's basically what I'm wanting to talk about today, and it's recycling some old plastics. So yeah, you can always come out here and catch some spotted bass. God bless you, little buddy. And you see there's nothing special about it. Basically no more than just a piece of plastic on a little small little finesse jig head. And this thing just is so simple, so easy for them to eat, and you usually catch a few on it. So we'll get back to it. Well, come over here, made one cast over here, got one on a chatterbait. It's a good close to 2 right there. I got bluegill chasing my chatterbait back. You pull up to one spot, and one spot could be literally be a game changer. I mean, many tournaments has happened like that. And sometimes it don't really have to. Look at this. Look at that. I'm gonna yank up like 15 pounds, just like just pull up to this one spot, just like what I was talking about. Come up here and make like one cast. Didn't even have the GoPro on. I just made one cast, getting ready to turn the GoPro on, and I had a nice largemouth slam me right off the end of the tree, and a nice 2-pound fish, and just caught another one right here too, and he's probably about 1.5 pounds too. So it seems like they're starting to turn on. I'm catching these fish on a chatterbait right here. Nice fish. Nice spotted bass. I love these spotted bass. They fight so well. This will be my 4th keeper of the day if I can get him in here. There we go. Number 4 right there. He bit it pretty good. All right, so now we're back to the finesse. We're going back and forth. There's no in between for some reason today. I'm either catching them on a big chatterbait, power fishing, or I'm catching them on this little, nice little Ned rig. It's a nice chunk spotted bass. And there it is on the Ned rig. I'll talk about that here in a little bit, but let's see here. Let's see if he's a keeper. All day. That fish is 14.5 inches. Actually, nope, I pinch his tail. Nose right there, that's a 15-inch. It's a 15-inch spotted bass. Go ahead and put him in here. I am going to put a cold tag on this fish though, just because he is a smaller fish. So go ahead and put a cold tag on him. That way, if I was to catch a couple of other good largemouths, I should be able to get him out pretty quickly. So go ahead and put him in this side. Here we go. I come out to this point right here, made a long cast with the Ned rig, what I was wanting to talk about today, and brought it right off that point right there, out into the deep water, and that little Ned rig, it just was, I was just kind of bumping it right along down through there. Maybe 2 or 3 pickups on the line of crawling the Ned rig, and that fish was on there. Got one. Good one. He spit up some shad. Gotta love these spotted bass. There he is. A nice fish. Good spotted bass. And them things, they just don't give up. They just fight and fight, and I love it about them. Good fight. There's number 5. Ned rig is gone. So now my 2 Colin fish, I've got this side full of nice largemouths. If I'm able to catch another good largemouth over there, blue, I gotta remember, blue is the one I need to call, because the red tag is a little bit bigger. So blue is gonna go back if I can hopefully cull him out. So like I was talking about, I wanted to talk about some of my favorite finesse tactics and everything. And one of my all-time favorite finesse tactics, which usually works in most situations, the Ned rig. And it's one of the most simplest, one of the most easiest little baits to fish. And it's just so simplistic that these fish, they really don't think much of it, and they're usually really willing to eat it. Something I just thought about, I thought would be really interesting to share with everyone my thoughts about it. I've found is really helpful for me is to save these old Senkos. And here, this is one that's been kind of worn out, and it's kind of got the center where I used it for a wacky rig. It's all worn out and everything. And here's another example. Here's one that is actually completely broke, where a fish bit it and it almost broke the Senko completely in half. And instead of just taking that, discarding it, and no longer being of any use for me, what you can actually do is just take that right there, and that in itself can be your bait. I mean, this is one too. This used to be a full Senko, and it's just as simple as taking that little bit of the Senko, rigging it on the jig head of your choice, or whatever type of Ned jig head you want. And it doesn't even have to be a Ned jig head, really. You can just use any sort of stand-up jig head. This is a great bait. You know, you might catch little dinks today. I mean, like we've caught some really small fish already today that were no more than 3 or 4 inches long, and then you might, you know, hook into a 5 or 6 pound largemouth. You can see here, I've got a whole, just a scrap bag of Gary Yamamoto, and it is just full of just busted, worn out Senkos that I just didn't want to throw away, and I've been able to give it a new life by making these on my Ned rig baits, and it's worked great. Fish love it just the same. This used to be a hula grub. I mean, you used to have like the little curly tails right here, and it used to be a great little crawfish imitator. And obviously, once fish eat it and everything, it's going to get all worn out, and probably get your little tails bit off and everything, and basically get worn out. But another cool thing I've found to do is it almost is like a little tube, but in a hybrid between a tube and a Ned rig. So what I'll do here, take my jig head, and I'll just run it right through here, just like you would a normal Ned rig. And now you've almost got sort of this little tube, kind of like Ned, basically just like a Ned rig, but it's got these little tentacles here, and that thing would do absolutely perfect for imitating crawfish. in a river or a creek scenario, even in a lake scenario where there's crawfish as a forage. So that is another bait that I like to kind of salvage. And there's all kinds of other baits. I'm sure there's plenty of others out there, and I'm sure there's other people who have thought of this, but it's something I think it's really interesting and I wanted to share with everyone. So I really hope that you'll try this out, and hopefully it'll catch you some fish. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, make the best in life. Thank you so much.